Hi, my friends. My name is Selim.Digital, and this is a blog that is documenting my carnivorish journey. I'm in week 17, I believe. And, I'm documenting this for myself, but I'm also documenting this for other middle-aged adults with kids who don't have a whole lot of time and don't have 2 hours to hit the gym and are just trying to figure out a way to get into the best shape of their lives. So if any of that sounds like it appeals to you, stick around and let's figure this out together. Let's motivate each other. As the saying goes, iron sharpens iron. Quick recap. My weight is mostly unchanged this week, and last week I'm still at about 237, but that's okay. I think that with the holidays, it is really difficult to lose weight with all of the temptations that are out there. So we're going to just say that as long as I don't gain weight over the holidays, that for the next month, that anything that I lose is just bonus. The handstands have been going really well. It's been good to do this every single day for even 5 minutes. It really reminds me of the importance of sustained action. Similar to my students, I do tell them I'd rather that they study 5 or 10 minutes a day rather than trying to cram the night before an exam. And, obviously that's easy for me to tell them, but it's been good for me to put that idea into practice. My handstands have gotten a lot better just in the last 2 or 3 weeks than they had in the last 2 or 3 months because of the fact that I'm doing 5 minutes a day as opposed to just doing an hour a week when I'm with my trainer. With the new year coming up, I've been cleaning out my digital junk drawer. I had to say that 3 times in order to get it right. And as I was cleaning out my files from my Google Drive, I stumbled upon this gem, an audition that I did, I think around 2014 or 13. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm in collections. What you didn't know is I'm a repo guy and a master handler of Yorkie show dogs. It's a lot like Perkins, because if you're only thinking of Perkins for breakfast, you don't know what you're missing. Like the Baconzilla burger. It's got bacon jam on it. Of course, I also like the grilled steak and shrimp. Bacon wrapped steak and shrimp. Classy. Who's my boy? Who's my baby? Who's my little baby?
Yeah, that was a tough one to see. I'm really angry at that guy, if I'm being honest. I'm really angry at him for allowing himself to get that. Like, how the hell did you allow yourself to get into that shape? How did you not see how horrible you looked? How could you audition in that kind of shape? It really is like looking at a different human being. I don't recognize him. I don't feel a lot of connection to that man. But at the same time, I need to look at him with a little bit of compassion. He's doesn't know what he's doing, and he's trying to figure this out, but he's really drowning, metaphorically and literally. What could I tell him that would help him out? He's at this point, a lot is going on in his life. He doesn't have a very stable job. He doesn't have the resources that I have. He doesn't know what I know. He hasn't been able to try all the things that I've tried to get myself into this kind of shape. What advice could I give him that would help him, given his resources at the time? And I think I'd say, look, Selim, you're not going to be able to diagnose this problem if you're not honest with yourself. And right now you're lying to yourself. So the first thing you need to do is get an accurate picture of what you're eating. Write it all down, weigh it, track it for a couple of weeks. Don't try and change it. Just be honest. You're probably eating about 4,000 calories a day, maybe more. You're probably eating 80% of your calories are carbohydrates. but figure it out one way or the other. The truth will set you free and will allow you to figure out what to do from there. But you can't solve a problem until you actually have an accurate picture of the problem. The second thing, and in some ways more important, is to learn about intermittent fasting. We're awake for 16 hours of the day. Just shrink the window of eating more and more and more. I would say to him, look, Selim, you don't really care too much about breakfast, so skip breakfast. Just eat from noon on, and that's an improvement. And then once you're used to that, okay, Selim, you tend to eat the worst food at 10 o'clock at night. Just try and cut the window, eat from noon to 10 p.m. And then once you're used to that, shrink it to say, okay, don't eat anything after dinner. And honestly, if I could keep my window at this point from 12 to 8, I would be steadily losing weight. Your body will start to metabolize fat if you don't keep adding more food into your body and not giving it a chance to rest. And the more I could shrink that window, if I could get it down to 6 hours and then 4 hours, it would be a tremendous improvement. Now I'm eating in a 4-hour window most days of the week, and I see that even on the days where I am not perfectly carnivore, I don't gain weight because I give my body enough time to lower its insulin, and so I'm able to maintain what I have. So I would tell Selim, look, fine, you can't go to the gym, you can't afford the gym, your ankles are a mess and you're constantly in pain. Just shrink your eating window as best as you can. And do that for 6 months, do that to 8 months, do that for a year. Don't quit just because you feel like it. And even if you screw up on a day because you go out or whatever, just the next day, keep that window as short as possible. And after Selim had gotten used to that kind of an eating habit life, I would tell him, look, just start cutting out the carbs as much as possible. First, nothing that's in a bag, nothing that's preserved, nothing that pops open. Get rid of those things. Eat real food. And then once you've gotten rid of all that snacky stuff, then go for the rice, the bread, the pasta, all of those things. I don't know exactly how much of my weight I can attribute to those three things, but of the 160 pounds that I've lost, I would guess that it's somewhere between 80 to 100 pounds of my total weight loss I can attribute to intermittent fasting and carbohydrate restriction and understanding my total caloric intake. Once I understood my caloric intake and could measure it, I could cut down how much I ate. Once I understood the idea of an eating window, I started to reduce it. And once I cut out the carbs for about 2 years. So those things work. But the final key to this, I would tell Selim, is give this time. It's going to take you years. You're so quick to jump on a bandwagon, do this for a month, do this for 2 months, even 6 months, something. Don't dip your toe in the water and then just quit it. Make a commitment to it for a year. At the very minimum, don't even assume that there will be any improvement for the first year. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. I'm really figuring it all out as I go. But to the extent that I've learned anything in these last several years of working out and losing weight, I can say that those three things, if you've got 100 pounds to lose or more, that doing those three things will make a humongous improvement. Anyone who's attempted to do this without at least trying those things has not done everything that they can. This is not a castigation or a judgment, but when people get frustrated and give up, I always want to ask them, well, what are the dozen things that you've done in the last several years to try and solve this problem? And if you haven't done those three things, then you still have room for experimentation and improvement. I know that every single human being on the planet can benefit from trying those things out for a sustained period of time. These are not going to hurt you. These are not going to make your situation any worse. If you have to lose 100 and something pounds, then you have nothing to, well, you have a lot to lose, I guess you should say. All right. I don't script these videos, so oftentimes after I've hit send, I realize, oh, there's like 80 more things that I wanted to say. So I'm writing out my extended thoughts on this on my blog, Selim.Digital. If you want to read a more refined version of these thoughts, please check out my blog. I'd love to continue this conversation there as well. I want to ask all of you, what are the things that you've tried? What are the techniques, the 2 or 3 techniques that have helped you the most in your journey? I think put your thoughts in the comments below. I would really like to continue this conversation. Alrighty. Thanks a lot, and I will see you next week. Take care.